prepared.
Okay.
Welcome to the last session of the day. So we want to talk a little bit about how customers are facing problems for migration from PIPO to Integration Suite and building an Edge integration cell locally in the data center. We have some introduction. Then Robert is talking about what is Edge integration cell, then why they need them, on then what challenges are facing the customer in that use case, how SUSE can help, and then Robert will talk a little bit about the path of migration. And then we have also an outlook from the SAP side and from the SUSE side, what's going further. First, some introduction. My name is Dominic Martin. I'm a solution architect at SUSE. Started nearly 5 years ago, and so I'm focused on the container space and also in the /for/sub space. There's my QR code for my LinkedIn profile. If you want to connect with me, feel free. And now I will hand it over to Robert.
Yeah, I have to press the arrow. Huh?
No, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I hope you can hear me. Is it loud enough also in the last row? Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, so my name is Robert Feltz. I'm the CEO and founder of Contiva. We are an SAP consultancy from Germany, and we have also here a branch in Florida. And yeah, our main focus is integration. So that means we are integrating SAP systems with non-SAP systems and also different SAP systems in the cloud, on-premise, with the help of APIs and classical integration, event mesh, and so on. And yeah, I'm more than 20 years now in this topic, integration, and therefore we are focused on SAP BTP and Integration Suite as the corresponding software product from SAP. Yeah, and also my LinkedIn profile, if you want, I'm happy to connect with you. So, yeah, first of all, what is the Edge integration cell? We heard this topic already sometimes here on the conference, and this is something new that's coming for every customer who's already using the SAP PIPO. So SAP PIPO is the legacy system for handling these interfaces between systems in the SAP landscape. And the end of the life cycle is coming on the end of 27 for the SAP PIPO. The upcoming product is the Integration Suite, so I have a picture of that. So we have the PIPO anywhere here, and it's going to the Integration Suite in the cloud. So the customers have to migrate every interface in the Integration Suite in the cloud, which means also a technology change. And some customers want to, or many customers want to run their old integrations also on premise and not in the cloud. So therefore, there's coming the Edge integration cell as a runtime, which will be set up locally on their landscape or on their locations, and they can push their integrations from the cloud to this local Edge integration cell. And you can have multiple Edge integration cells in different locations. And all this is running on a Kubernetes cluster. And that's why we are here, because we use SUSE Rancher for SAP applications to provide this Kubernetes cluster, and then with these Edge integration cells. Yeah. So therefore, it's a local runtime. It is self-hosted. It's fully supported by SAP. And also SUSE, and you have one free license from SAP for each Integration Suite tenant you are running. So you have, or it's easy to come to this Edge integration cell for every. Can you see if this is on? And then more than that, you can reuse your cloud integration flows you are building in the cloud on every local Edge integration cell and also in the cloud. So therefore, we have also run the same flow in both environments. You can, on more than both, you can run on every Edge integration cell the same scenario. You have the local connection without sending any payloads to the internet. So for security reasons, some customers don't want their payloads and business messages in the cloud. And with the Edge integration cell, it's possible to keep them locally. Yeah, then you can compensate the internet outages if you have some on your location where your warehouse is. Currently up to 4 hours, but it's already planned by SAP up to 48 hours. Yeah, it will be a hybrid system, so there will be never an option to keep it fully offline. Yeah, that's the plan from SAP. Yeah, and then for sure, because you can run your payloads locally without the need to send them to the internet, you have faster transmissions due to lower latencies because you have fewer hops through your integration path. Yeah, and why? For sure, that were already some reasons why you should use this. But at the end, we have a little bit on a higher perspective. So the first is for scaling faster with your own pace. So you can decide how you scale your cluster, and therefore it's up on you, and you have not to open a ticket at SAP and ask for more nodes or something. It's on your own. And the second, you can decide on which locations you set up this cluster. This maybe is interesting for some customers because of local law regulations. Some want to run this on their countryside landscape, so it depends on the regulations. The third one is the migration. So you are forced to migrate until the end of 27 when you are using the IPO. So therefore, this is a main reason for many customers to use this Edge integration cell in the future. And yeah, Integration Suite, the fourth one, is already one solution for all integration topics. So it's covering event-driven architecture, API management, and so on. And you will have this also with the Edge integration cell in your local environment. So you are enhancing your current integration suite with this. And the fifth point is here that you have no more dependencies on internet lines and even the fewer hops I already showed you in the screen before. So, and then we are coming to the challenges, and I think this is something for Dominic.
Yeah, thank you. When we're talking to customers and they want to migrate from PIPO to Integration Suite, so there are some topics where they need to take about it. And so it's one-time infrastructure readiness, network connectivity challenge, operational complexity, security and compliance, integration maintenance, license and cost considerations. So for the last point, license and cost consideration, Robert will step in, and to the other points I want to say something more. So network and infrastructure connectivity, infrastructure readiness is Kubernetes requirement. So in the past, the people know the SAP software, they have a database server, they have an application server, it's running on virtual machines, running on bare metal, and now they are facing the Kubernetes world. And that's a lack of knowledge. Also, IT readiness teams, or the last point, is also there, that people don't have knowledge in Kubernetes, need to be readied up, and this takes some time, and also to understand the whole technology. Sizing is also a bit difficult. We talk to the customers, and so what machines do I need? So how is the size of my Edge integration cell? SAP published a sizing guide, which depends on the millions of messages that proceed. So that's a good guideline which you can refer and build up your infrastructure. And the good thing of Kubernetes is the scalability. So if you need more power, it's very easy to put another node where the application is running on it into your Kubernetes cluster. Or when you have it virtualized, you can put more memory and more RAM into it. But these are topics which customers are facing, what we see. Then also network and connectivity topics. So firewall, we need to go outside of the network to the cloud. Robert mentioned that the constant connectivity to the SAP cloud. And so you need to take a look that this connection is secure. Maybe you have firewall, you have proxy configuration. Proxy configuration can be a little bit difficult, so that's also something which you need to take care about it. And also the latency issues, that you don't have too much latency. Also, when you plan to split your Kubernetes cluster across data centers, that the latency is very low, that your cluster is not hiccup, or you get problems with the SAP cloud. When we're looking for the IT team, so SAP, this is a slide from SAP, identified 3 roles where the customer is focused on. So you have the SUSE administrator, which is building up the infrastructure, installing the server, installing the Kubernetes cluster. Then you have the tenant admin, which is administrating the Kubernetes cluster, but also needs to be known in SAP software technology, because you also need to install the Edge integration cell. So SAP decided to do this installation a little bit difficult, not difficult, a little bit different. Challenging to other Kubernetes installations. So if you are known with Kubernetes, there is an operator called, or not an operator, a package system called Helm. That's which you can easily install applications in your Kubernetes cluster. And SAP decided to do this a little bit different. So you need to upload your identification file of the Kubernetes cluster into the cloud. Then you download the file. Then you have a binary which you need to execute, which connect to your cluster and install Edge Lifecycle Management. And then when Edge Lifecycle Management is installed, you see your cluster in the cloud, and then you can deploy the Edge integration cell. So there are many.
That's correct. but at the end, why are we doing this? Because at the end, SAP takes over the support for all of this. Yeah. So as we give SAP everything that SAP can deploy the solution on our Kubernetes cluster, and therefore, if you have trouble with your Edge integration cell and something is not working, then you can directly open a ticket at SAP with a tracing code, and then they can, over the management connection, trace that problem in your local Kubernetes cluster. So this is that's why we are doing all these steps. But yeah, at the end, you can decide on your own if this is good for you or not.
And so the tenant admin has a split role. First, you need to know Kubernetes, then you need to know the SAP software, and then you have the integration API developer who is developing the workflows and running the software.
Yeah, correct.
On the other side, we also have security and compliance. So it depends on which country you are based. Are there some rules or government restrictions? Do you need have some regulations where you are working in the bank sector or something? Do you work with credit card information or on the health sector? That you also need to take care of it. Then identity and access management. If your cluster should be able to administrate from everyone, or only developers should see the cluster, or only the tenant admin. So you need to think about airbag and security patch management. So we know Kubernetes is running on a platform with an operation system. Kubernetes itself bringing out every 4 months a new release. SAP also. What's the release cycle for the Edge integration cell?
I'm thinking that these are 4 weeks. Every 4 weeks there could be an update, and you have to update or you have to upgrade in every case. So
or you can skip one version or something.
No, you cannot skip any version. You have to do every update which is coming, and I think the cycle is every 4 weeks. But yeah, don't.
That's also something which you need to take about. And if you need to encryption.
Yes, correct?
Yeah. Okay, you can skip one version,
yeah, okay.
But it's also 4 weeks is also very frequent, and you need to encryption your data. Maybe you need to encrypt your data because you use Edge integration cell in the cloud, and you don't want that your cloud provider see the data. Then what's with the operational complexity and the maintenance? How do you deploy this? If you need more than one cell, if you want to do it manually, do you want to do some automation with Terraform, or using Ansible? Then how do you monitor the cluster or observe the cluster? So there's monitoring through the Integration Suite cloud for the application itself, but you also need to care about the Kubernetes cluster and on the operation system. then how looks disaster recovery? So with Kubernetes, you have HA. So that's not a problem if your worker node is dying, so you can replace it, or there's enough capacity in your cluster that the application is running smoothly. But how it's looked from the SAP side to do disaster recovery from the Edge integration cell, and that's at the moment a topic which is still not complete figured out, because there are two database components included in that solutions, where we don't, at the moment, it's a little bit difficult to identify in which state you need to bring this that the Edge cell is running again. And you need to manage your Kubernetes cluster, update the versions, look that your version is validated with the SAP node who's supporting the Edge integration cell, and so on.
It's up on me. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, we have integration and maintenance. So there are some more challenges because of some adapters coming from EDI. So there's OFTP or file transmission that can be only done over the adapters from the Edge integration cell. So you cannot cover this with your integration suite. So this is also OFTP is coming this year. It's currently not available. So it's what SAP said that they are planned this for Q3, I think. Then we have the version compatibility. I think we had already talked about this one, but here also mentioned security patch management, regular updates, and vulnerability monitoring. Also one of these challenges. And for the licensing and cost considerations, the SAP license model, so there is already subscription and user-based pricing. You have both of this. The first Edge integration cell is for free for each integration suite tenant you have. So if you have 3 stages, development, quality, and production, then you have 3 Edge integration cell licenses for free. But you have also usage-based pricing for the messages running over these Edge integration cell, but just 50% off the regular price. So it's cheaper to use this, but at the end you have to pay also for message volumes on the Edge integration cell with the same rules like in the integration suite. Yeah. The current price for more than one Edge integration cell per integration suite tenant, I don't know. There is the discovery page from SAP where you can find the pricing. Yeah, but at the end you can have so many Edge integration cells you want on your on every integration tenant. And then there are for sure the challenge for hardware and software costs for maintaining everything for the Edge integration cell. For sure, SUSE Rancher and the Kubernetes cluster. Yeah, and then there are maybe hidden costs, additional expenses for storage, network bandwidth, and support services. Depends on what you need as a customer. Yeah. So yeah, here one more picture of that to make this more understandable. But I think the typo is a little bit too small. So here's one integration suite with one entitlement of a standard or premium integration suite, and you have one Edge integration cell inclusive for this stage development, and then you have the same for test and production. And above all that, you see here also cloud transport management and IIS for authorization. But at the end, this is usually the landscape how it looks for us. Yeah. Yeah. So we are coming to the next topic.
Yeah, where SUSE can help. So SUSE and SAP have a strong relationship. So we work over 25 years together, starting with the Linux way, now also on the Kubernetes way, and we also have a strong relationship with our hardware vendors, which we are building in Waldorf test systems for the developers and for testing. and SAP validates the Kubernetes version. So if there's a SAP node, describe what you need to deploy Edge Integration Cell on the Kubernetes cluster, and at the moment these 4 versions which are written are supported or validated to run Edge Integration Cell on the Kubernetes cluster. You can run it on a hyperscaler, so like Azure, AWS, and Google. If you want to run it in a local data center, you can use random version, or also OpenShift is available there. But we will prefer validate Kubernetes version for private data centers, so for running local data centers. What do you need? You need some infrastructure. Many customers have their own infrastructure and using VMware or virtualization and building a Kubernetes cluster on VM-based. But also customer uses bare metal systems and want to install it on bare metal. It depends on your requirements. Then you need an operation system, Kubernetes distribution, and then storage to store the data of the databases, because Edge Integration Cell needs the database, the Redis and the Postgres database, and for networking you need a load balancer. In our use case we use MapLLC, and then you can deploy the 2 components from the cloud, the Edge Lifecycle Management and the Edge Integration Cell. And to run the platform, all you need is Runtime Prime for sub-application. We heard it this morning, it was announced. It's a bundle which contains everything you need to run Edge Integration Cell in the data center. We choose usually Micro as operation system, but we know customer has the installation base, they have their automation to build up their operation system, and you still can use a Slash or Slash facade underneath Kubernetes. Then at Kubernetes distribution we choose RK2. So it's coming from RK government, so the focus is on security and easy to install. You can spin up a RK cluster in 5 minutes and then manage all the transfer files. We know there's a lack of knowledge regarding Kubernetes, and people often will be frightened to touch that technology, but with the SUSE transfer file you get an easy step into managing Kubernetes, automate Kubernetes, upgrade Kubernetes. With one single UI you can manage and see everything. And for deploying the databases, we have the SUSE application collection. We use the application collection. I have some slides later regarding this, to develop bring customer open source, secure open source components in the Kubernetes cluster. SUSE storage is used for storing the data in Kubernetes, and with SUSE observability and security, we want to show you more what's happening in the cluster and make the cluster much more secure. For these 3 topics, that at the moment we need to take care about it, because we talked about that SAP don't want other workloads, so we are discussing with SAP that these components are also can run on your cluster to get more insight and secure your cluster. And if you want to build up your new infrastructure, you can choose SUSE virtualization as base and run directly the Kubernetes cluster on SUSE virtualization. So what brings SUSE Runtime Prime on the table? So we know that it's very difficult in enterprise segment to do a frequent update. So Kubernetes releases 4 versions in a year, and when we take a look for SAP customers who are running big HANA database and so on, it's very difficult to find one maintenance window in the year. We offer also support for our Rancher and Kubernetes distribution for 18 months, and we can also extend it with long-term service pack support to up to 3 years. And so we want to bring a little bit stress out of that maintenance topic to install every quarter a new Kubernetes version. And SAP also needs to validate the version. At the moment there's 130 validated, and we are on 131. So they also lag a little bit, and Kubernetes versions have a lifetime upstream from 1 year, so you get in trouble with maintenance and support. And here we want to help you that you have supported and stable systems in your data center to run that critical application. So
Then we have talked a little bit about the application collection, and here we are, when we're talking to customer, they're facing problems because developers want to have a system very fast, very quick to build it up, and they use container images and Docker Hub, and nobody knows what's in this container, what's happening with the container, who maintains the container, maybe there's no health time or no staging into it, there's lots of vulnerabilities, and here we build up the application collection, also what's in the container, so there's no S-bomb. So at the moment, war is also through the IT. You need to take care about the components in a secure environment, and you also want to know what components are in your software. And so people are often asking about S-bomb. And here we use the application collection coming in place, where we're hosting a private registry at SUSE, putting open source software, and remove the base container image, like a Debian, like in Helpline, and putting our slash underneath. And so it's very easy to reduce the vulnerabilities from 10 to 0, only replacing the container image base layer. And so you only have one source of truth. You can download all open source software from the application collection. At the moment there are over 70 applications. If you use the customer application that's not there, raise a ticket, talk to us, and we try to bring it out in the place. We also made a secure slicing. We modify the container so that you get a signed container, you know what's in there, and you run a very full container in your environment. We also scan the container for vulnerabilities with antivirus, not only with our own tool to security. We also use a third-party tool so that we can have, so we have two results and don't and can compare them, and the application connection is optimized. Okay. Then, when we're talking about lack of knowledge regarding Kubernetes, we have the Range Academy. It's a free training platform where you get insights. What is Kubernetes? How Kubernetes works? How Range works? So you can register at Range Academy. You can explore the courses. They are not 3-day courses, so you can handle it in 1 or 2 hours. We also have Range Desktop, where you can download and run a Kubernetes distribution locally on your machine, on Mac, on Windows, and Linux, and play with it and get in touch with Kubernetes until you can reduce the lack of noise of Kubernetes, because we can deliver you we can deliver you some courses where you can get in touch, but we also have trainings which are going 3 or 5 days, a little bit deeper. That is only so getting a first idea what is the product, how the product works, and how you install it. And if you want to do more training and certification, we also have their e-learnings and on-site courses and also certification for our product. But it's a good step in to get in touch with our product.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that SUSE Rancher provides directly the SAP payload or the SAP runtime. The product is a suite of every tool you need for the requirements of SAP. So SAP requires Longhorn, for example. Then you have also the Postgres databases, correct, Redis, HANA-DB support, which is coming, and so on. And all of this is in the product SUSE Rancher for SAP applications.
And we compared, we have a product called Linux server application, and we also deliver not the HANA database, and it is certified for this. That is the product is for this use case designed. And we do not deliver SAP software.
And also,
Kego wants to say something.
pass-through migration. I'm looking a little bit on the time, so I try to do this. Let's see how fast we can go through this. But at the end, I'm happy if your questions will be answered. So I think this is the best what we can do here today. So here's a comparison of the SAP PO, PIPO, and the integration suite. So from the left side where we are coming from, and end of life cycle 27, what I already told you, and the integration suite on the right side. With this table here, I want to show you that the migration isn't so easy. So it's not just pressing a button and then you are in the new world. These migration projects could be very huge, because PIPO was mainly point-to-point oriented for the integrations. Also, there are over many years grown integrations, 10, 20 years over decades. It's on-premise, and also there is many customizing in the system. So, and all of this has to go to the integration suite, which is in the cloud. And there we have another approach for integrating interfaces. So this is more asynchronous oriented, and the integration suite is more synchronous oriented. So it's a different pattern and approach for integrations. And it makes also sense for the customers to redesign the old interfaces and so on. So at the end, it depends on the customer and how much they are running currently on the PIPO. But we are talking about many days, up to 1 year and more, for a sensible and good migration from the old world to the new one. And one part of this is the Edge integration cell, to provide the privacy of messages and integrations also in the future. Let me show what is the next. I'm going to the next slide here. So therefore, early planning and analysis of the old system and the current situation is very necessary and important. Some customers are waiting for the S4 migration, but on my opinion, you should start directly with this today, and you shouldn't wait for migrating to the integration suite and also the Edge integration cell. A step-by-step migration would be our approach, what we recommend, without a big bang. And there could be also a hybrid phase between SAP PIPO, the legacy system, and the integration suite with the Edge integration cell. There are migration tools coming from SAP, also from other vendors. On many presentations, it seems that you can press a button and then everything is fine. But for us, it could be that you can transport 50 to 70% per button. But at the end, the other 30% are so heavy to understand and to set up on the integration suite that there is the most effort in these 30%. So you have to manually work to do. Then the know-how that you have to build, because integration suite works differently than the PIPO, for creating interfaces, for using BTP, also with the Kubernetes. So there are many points where your employees or colleagues have to gain more know-how about all these solutions to maintain these in the future. And also testing and operation is important here, because interfaces are between different IT systems, and every time these are very critical things, and we are talking here about an infrastructure system that is very critical in the most situations. Yeah. So this is just a picture of the migration tool which comes from the SAP. This helps us. You can do a migration assessment with this tool over your old landscape. There you get a PDF document from SAP, 10 pages long, giving you the first informations, how many interfaces, which protocols, how many messages, and so on, to plan your migration, and that is very helpful. But for this assessment, you also already need an integration suite or a trusted partner who can establish the connection with your current system. And then when you have this assessment, you can also need this to migrate your interfaces. Some of them are shown as ready for migrate automatically. You press the button and this integration goes into your integration suite. But at the end, you have manually work and at any time to have this really from the quality coming good done. Yeah. And then I have this picture, what are the steps, but at the where we can help you as a customer going this way. But I would say at the end, if you need help with all this and understanding also strategy on integration, and makes it sense for you to use the Edge integration cell or not, what are the pros or cons? You are very invited. You can make a meeting with me and my colleagues, and we will help you, and also other partners. So I'm very happy to connect with you all. Yeah. And then we have a short outlook. The time is okay?
Make it quick.
Okay, I make it very quick. I think we already had some points we talked about. So there are upcoming more adapters for the Edge integration cell, which were requested, I would say heavily by the customers for OFTP file adapter and RFC from receiving and sending sides. Then more interesting is disabling messages payload access from the cloud. That means currently when you are monitoring messages, you have to do this over the cloud system, and SAP opens a channel to watch the messages in your Edge integration cell from the cloud interface. But SAP is not saving these messages or store these messages. But at the end, they will provide an option that you can disable this completely, and you will have also a local monitoring possibility that you don't have the need to read these messages that they are running through this infrastructure from the cloud system or site. Yeah. Also authentication, local access for OData APIs, monitoring operations, support of partner directory for EDI processes, access policies to share flows with different branches maybe. And there we have also the enable deployment in a shared Kubernetes cluster with fewer required privileges. So we have to wait what this brings us in the future.
Yeah. It will be, at the moment you need to be a cluster administrator to deploy that integration cloud, and a customer asking for less admin privileges to have a secure environment, so that will help. And this morning we announced the SUSE and the SAP application bundle, so I think it will be nearly available.
Then we have a best practice guide on our documentation page. When you want to build up an Edge integration service on our platform, you can follow this guide, installing the SUSE Linux micro, installing Rancher, installing the databases, the certificates, everything is described there. Feel free to use it. And we want also to make the clusters much more secure, enable Linux at the moment is disabled from SAP side, so you need to disable it regarding some components. So we're in discussion with SAP that we can make the cluster and the operation system much more secure, and we also want to deliver some patterns for SUSE observability.
Thank you.